Good morning, everyone. I'm so happy that we all are here to strategize and shift power. Change has indeed called us all here. This is 2026, my friends, and we need to disrupt the feminist ideology, push for radical and intersectional structural changes. With the current right wing uproar, we need to remember we are here for sexual reproductive health, rights, and justice, not just reproductive health. Let's just stop calling it that. I'm so happy that the third edition of She Writes and Media Awards are aiming to combat the rise in anti-rights narrative. Why now? We recently saw what happened at CSW. Regressive states are attempting to reverse the established language on bodily autonomy and human rights. We need to do something. The war economics, the gendered cost of conflicts that women are paying, the unpaid care, where there is, look at what's happening in Ukraine and Middle East. Women are forced to fill the gap of public services, of the collapsing public health systems, the criminalized activism, the bans on the targeted feminist mobilization. We saw it in Pakistan. What we saw in India, that the Trans Amendment Bill 2026 is removing the right to self-identification. We need to stop the use of pseudoscience being used to justify these rollbacks and the framing of gender ideology. We are done. Remember, we need to decolonize finance. We need to have radical inclusivity. We need to talk about the digital resistance. So where do we go from here? We need to pivot intersectionality. We need to talk about climate, about tech, We need to talk about climate justice and bring along women from all diversities, women in sex work, women who use drugs, young girls, indigenous women. And we need to talk about gender-aware safety standards for AI. Why are we not talking about it? It's high time. We have the cross-movement solidarity, merge all forces together. The feminist movement at the center with LGBT activism, with anti-racism, with disability rights. We need to have a unified front against the hierarchical oppression that we are facing today. Fund the grassroots, please. Just 0.2% goes to feminist organizations. We need to talk of putting health in hands of women. Let's talk about self-care as a path to autonomy in SRHR. Talk about confidentiality, safety, informed choice. I just want to say that we are done asking for a seat at the table. We are done trying to fit out. Changing what the table looks like is something that I have, taken this message from the recent speech of Canadian Prime Minister that, either you are at the table or on the menu, my friends. We have to be at the table now. Thank you.